Hey everybody, off the top rope here, off the Mike Sports Network. We are in WrestleMania week, which means we're gonna get a bunch of stories out here, in and out, and obviously, AEW with their big show this week, which I think is just, a cheap promotional tactic, which I'm disappointed about. But I want to talk about something in relation to NXT. So we know at Stand and Deliver on Saturday, morning or afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. They're doing it at 10 a.m. local time in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. One of the big matches is Stephanie Vaquer in a fatal four-way match defending her women's championship or NXT Women's Championship against Julia, Jada Parker, and Jordan Grace. And one interesting thing is Stephanie did an interview. I can't remember where it was, but basically Stephanie talked about her, her coming to being in WWE and being in NXT. If you guys remember, almost a calendar year ago, it was really her coming out party. Wait, people knew, like the hardcore, diehard wrestling fans who followed like CMLL and New Japan knew who Stephanie Vaquer was. Like everybody heard the name. I didn't really know much about her. And then there was that match in New York against Mercedes Moné, the title for title match where Mercedes won. Famously, Stephanie won over the crowd. Mercedes lost the crowd, was very much booed. And here we are. And the way we look at it, and I've done many videos on this channel being very critical of Mercedes booking. And then you put that side by side, juxtapose it to what has gone on with Stephanie. And basically, Stephanie said that initially what was going to happen was she talked to WWE and WWE did not apparently the offer on the table wasn't going to be like from a financial perspective what she wanted. And so they basically said, "Hey, good luck in AEW." And she goes to AEW, and then Shawn Michaels was the one who swayed the scale and put in some influence and basically saying, "Hey, we want you here." And Stephanie, because of her love and wanting to be in WWE, considering that was her dream, and she had tried out famously. She was one of the Performance Center tryouts, I think, right around 2019, right before COVID, and it didn't work out for her. And then here she is in less than a year. She's the NXT Women's Champion. She won the North American Championship, both in the span of like a month. And here she is heading into Stand and Deliver in Las Vegas as the champion. And as over as can be. And there's speculation that the reason why they made the title change, I don't know if it's actually true, is because she was more over than Julia. And think about that for a second. Remember all of the buzz that we heard surrounding Julia coming over and her being the first big name. Stephanie, in a lot of ways, has outshined Julia. And that just shows you, like, when you put in the right place to be a showcase opportunity and you make the right decisions, you're going to be able to thrive. And yes, everybody can be critical of how certain people are being pushed or not being pushed into WrestleMania or not. But there's a certain way to go about, like, how the push would have went. And the way that WWE has done it and why I think she absolutely made the right decision in going to WWE. Because think about what would have happened if Stephanie would have ended up in AEW. Like, think about what happened. Like, let's use this as an example here. Megan Bayne is a big signing, and she was sitting around for a while. Megan Bayne got built up for a few weeks, all to lose to Toni Storm, and now she's not even in the Mae Young tournament. She's not in the Mae Young, not the Owen Hart, excuse me, Mae Young. I think of tournaments all over the place, but she's not in the Owen Hart tournament to determine Toni Storm's next challenger at all. In she's squashed a couple of nobodies on, and this is exactly like on a better degree what they did with Camille. So, do you think, especially with the power that is being swung around by Mercedes, that Stephanie was going to get anywhere in AEW? The fact that she went to NXT, and some people think that that is like, taking a step back in a lot of cases, this has actually helped her career going to NXT. And she's over as can be. She got, like, honestly, in a loaded women's Royal Rumble, she got a pretty decent pop. And like I said, Julia was supposed to be like the standard and really like the big shiny object that was going to come in. She got the front row treatment and everything. Stephanie comes in and immediately, even though Julia got the championship first, She beats her. There was speculation about an injury. I don't know what happened, but the point is, Stephanie is the more over one of the two. She got the double championship run, and it just makes you think of like, okay, like, what if Shawn Michaels doesn't make that phone call and influence her to potentially go to WWE? And some people say, well, she would have gotten more money and gotten more financially rewarded. Guys, sometimes money isn't everything, even though Mercedes says that in her thing. And you've seen what has happened with egos and stuff. But what I've noticed specifically with this situation when it comes to Stephanie is that she has done a lot of the necessary work to build her up to the point where, hey, she is a big part of what the women's division is in WWE, and to be at the top of, in my eyes, the best women's division in the entire industry right now, which is NXT, even if you want to call it a developmental brand, she's a big reason behind that. Yes, she kind of came in there towards the tail end, but still, the fact that she's outshining her longtime friend Julia when everybody thought that Julia was going to be the one to shine is crazy to me. And it makes you wonder. It's like some people on the AEW truther side are like, yeah, she didn't make the right decision. I was like, she would have been fed to Mercedes by now. I mean, she already was. But it tells you everything that you need to know. Mercedes won that match at Forbidden Door in June of last year. Since then, and I've talked about this on the channel, Mercedes stock has gone down. Stephanie's stock, I would be buying in it right now. Because if she gets called up to the main roster in the next year or two, look out. Look out. She's going to be in the mix for one of those women's championships at some point. At some point. Who's to say? I'll say this. The result of that four-way match at Stand and Deliver, I would say one, if not two of those women will be on the main roster at some point this year. If not within the next week or so past WrestleMania. So I think whoever the champion is going to stay, and then maybe one other person. I think Jada Parker is probably going to the main roster. I would venture to guess that Jordan Grace would probably go too. Julia and Stephanie, I don't know if they want to continue their feud. They seemingly hinted or did do a Julia heel turn in NXT, so maybe that's what they do, and they build this division around that. But I feel pretty confident in saying that once either one of those two get to the main roster, I think Stephanie's ceiling is higher at this point, but we'll see. But the bottom line is that reading those quotes and hearing that interview, Stephanie Vaquer made the absolute right decision. Whether you want to admit it or not, or you're an AEW tribalist, or you want to just say that she made the wrong decision, she would have been drowned in AEW, even if she would have gotten the better financial offer. And this is not like WWE influencing or anything. It's like that was her dream. And WWE has treated her much better than what she was for that one build, that one match that she had that basically got her that contract with WWE. So anyway, thanks so much for watching this edition of Off the Top Rope. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.